Hello, chefs. This is Chef's PSA. I'm your host, André Natera. Today I'm joined by Phillip Frankland, Michelin-starred chef behind Sushi by Scratch, Pasta Bar, and the Not a Damn Chance podcast. In this episode, we talk about what it really takes to earn respect in the kitchen, maintain your creative vision, and build a team from scratch. We get into the mindset behind culinary mastery, balancing perfection, pressure, and personal growth. We talk one of my favorite subjects, Fancy Chef, and his next venture. Stay tuned. This episode of Chef's PSA is brought to you by Foods in Season, your connection to what's wild, fresh, and exceptional. At Foods in Season, ingredients tell a story. Built on decades-long relationships, wild Columbia River king salmon, dip net caught by native tribal families, fresh morels from trusted foragers, handcrafted pantry essentials like Blease, bourbon-aged maple syrup, sherry 9 vinegar, and exquisite Prima truffle products. Top chefs nationwide trust Foods in Season for quality and consistency. Order today, have it on your line tomorrow. Visit foodsinseason.com and mention Chef's PSA and receive free shipping plus a complimentary sample box on your first order.
Coming up, I had as a young line cook, and even as a sous chef, I had a very strict rule. If you were the fucking man, like whoever that chef was that I worked for, if you were the fucking man, you could burn me, you could hit me, you could throw a pan at me, you could talk shit about my mom, whatever it was. If you were the fucking man. If you weren't, there might be a problem.
Was there ever a line like, okay, so you said like talk shit about my mom, but was there ever a line like I often tell people there's two things you can't joke about with me. One is kids. Like I don't think kid jokes are funny.
Yeah.
Right? Kids are off limits. And
mom jokes?
Mom jokes, kind of. Mom jokes, kind of. Sorry, Mom. But I also say I never insult other people's religion. Like those are usually things. I'll never insult someone's kids.
Yeah.
I don't insult other people's religion. And if that line was ever crossed, I'd be like, okay, I might have to punch you.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not religious, so no one ever talked shit about my religion. I didn't have kids back then, so no one talked shit about my kids. But like to me, it was the price of entry.
Yeah.
I have been striving for almost 20 years now. I wanted Michelin stars. So when I'm a young cook, when I'm a line cook, when I'm working in Michelin-starred kitchens 15, 18 years ago, 19 years ago, it's the price to play the game, right? It was like I would rather get all of the influence. I mean, here's the thing, like when I say you're the man, it's not just that you're necessarily the face, but the food you're doing is, to me, godly, right? The care you put to it is otherworldly. And I mean, I had the same chefs who were, acting like that. Literally, like I've had chefs who would like, smash plates and everything, but they're like breaking down in tears because they're like, this is my fucking name on the marquee. Yeah. This is my fucking, because it's just straight passion. And I wanted that. And I wanted to learn from that. And you're not going to, it's like all these people who get, mad at an artist who does something in their personal life. Yes, there's probably a line at which you cut someone off, but also like you don't
Was that a Diddy reference? No.
It was not a Diddy reference. But you don't get great art from a straight-laced, guy. You just don't, And so if you want to be the best, you have to train under the best, and the best are oftentimes unhinged, and they were definitely more unhinged, when I was coming up than they are today.
They were, I would say they're definitely more unhinged before the cameras came out. And when I mean the cameras, I mean the cell phones. I would say, I remember I was reading this book, it was like 2013, and actually it was 2010. It was called Leaders Make the Future, and it was like predicting what the future would be like. And I remember reading it, I was like, oh, fuck, pretty soon everyone's going to have cell phones. And what's going to stop someone from working in a shitty kitchen that the drains are backing up and they're still cooking over sewage and the guests don't know?
Yeah.
What's going to stop them from taking out their phone and saying, these are the conditions that we're cooking your food in?
Well, now Instagram teaches you to do that.
Right.
Right. So like when I first opened Scratch Bar in like 2013, I would give my cooks Letters to a Young Chef by Danielle Boulud.
That great book.
An amazing book.
Yeah.
And it was like, book report. You're going to work here, book report. Because you needed to, because there's really two things that there's two different ways you can go about cooking for a living.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it for a paycheck, or you can do it for a passion, right? And I didn't want anyone looking for a paycheck. Back then, I actually used to require you to if you wanted to come work with us, I would make you work for your first month for free.
Mm-hmm.
And it was solely to prove to yourself you're not here for the money. Because small crew, you're here for the money, we don't want you.
Mm-hmm.
You're here because you want to be in the part of the band, then we want you. They didn't know this, but if they made it the month, retroactive back pay. And if they quit before the end of the month, they were always going to get paid. They just didn't know it. Mm-hmm. And so everybody on the team would know that was happening. So, and they all went through the haze of that. So nobody would tell anyone who was coming on the team. But it was an important thing because if you used to have to want and need to be in that kitchen.
Yeah.
And now with Instagram, they're teaching you how to like quiet quit and fuck your boss and don't care anymore. And it's like, you have to make money to live. And so why not enjoy the thing you do? Like find the thing you love and then figure out how to monetize it, whether that be a line cook or anything,
Mm-hmm. You said something interesting because of the quiet quitting, and I'd say we're teaching people to not want to be the best, but what a lot of people don't understand, some of these older, I don't want to say older kitchens, there's still a lot that run this way. I just don't think they're talked about as much as they used to be. But what a lot of people don't understand is like, this is like going into the special forces when you go to some of these kitchens. Like they're not going as hobbyists. This isn't like weekend warriors. This is like, no, they are going in because they want to be the tip of the spear. They want to be the best of the best.
Yes.
And if you don't want to do that, maybe you don't want to be in those kitchens, because the reality is when you put yourself around a lot of apex predators,
Mm-hmm.
like I used to joke around, say you put a dog that's not a wolf around a pack of wolves, they're either going to eat him up or he's going to turn into a wolf.
Yes.
One or the other.
Yes. There was some Instagram that popped up in my algorithm lately or recently of some kid complaining about working in a Michelin starred kitchen and like that, like they were being mean to him because they were always telling him his mise en place wasn't good enough and they were throwing away his mise en place. And like he got a million comments about like, yeah, fuck that restaurant. I'm just like, why should the restaurant serve bad food for your feelings? I don't understand that. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't do all my research. Maybe they were, taking him in the back and beating him with a stick.
Right.
Shouldn't be doing that. But it didn't appear to be like that. It appeared to be more like I was trying my best, but, nothing was ever good enough. But here's the thing. And I've always had this very strict rule for myself as a chef. I hold everyone accountable to one thing, and that's themselves. Mm-hmm. If you've been cooking for 30 years and this dude's been cooking for 30 months, mm-hmm. and you're both cutting onions at the same speed, I might tell him great job, and I might be like, dude, what the fuck? Right? So all I can ever expect from you is for you to give me your all. Mm. But if your all isn't good enough to make the plate, that's okay. We're just going to throw it away and do it again. Mm-hmm. And this kid didn't complain about getting fired. So he complained about never being good enough. And that it's like, it's almost like going for the football team, missing every pass and being like, well, how come I don't get to be the starting, wide receiver? It's like, dude, because you're not catching it yet. Go practice.
Right.
Go practice, get better. But the culture has sort of taken it in this way of like, I should just be the sous chef instead of like, I should go practice. Like in that book, Daniel talks about, going and getting sacks of potatoes and tortinaing potatoes in his basement for hours a day. I don't think that's what kids are learning on Instagram these days.
No, I mean, I would argue that you could learn a lot faster with Instagram and Chef Steps, and all these websites now exist, and social media does help you cook, get the technique faster, where before you had to go stage somewhere and see it.
Yeah.
And maybe they weren't going to show you and you're going to be so now you can see it quicker, but you still have to learn how to do it.
You do have to learn how to do it, but it also, Instagram then takes you to that culture of like, you go to a restaurant, I'm sure you've experienced this. You go to a restaurant and the food looks like you're at Franson or you're at Noma. Right. And then you taste it and you go, oh, this chef has Instagram.
Right.
The chef has not been to Europe. The chef has just
Right.
seen pictures in a book.
Yeah. I like to say it's chef thirst traps.
Yeah,
Like their chefs are plating the most beautiful food, but it's like,
or it's not beautiful. It's like this whole thing makes me come off like a hater. I'm not a hater. But I feel like we've started on this sort of, on this.
we started on it. So. No, but you're right. You're right. Like, just because you know how something looks doesn't mean you know what it tastes like. And someone that I know went to Paul Bocuse recently to eat at restaurant Paul Bocuse, and they were saying, like, it doesn't look like the most impressive food, but when you taste it, you're like, fuck, now I know. Now I understand.
I ate there last summer, and it was like, I mean, it really, I mean, there's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason that it stood the test of time. There's a reason. I mean, was it the best meal I've ever had in my life? No.
Mm-hmm.
Was it in my top 20? Probably.
Yeah.
Could I see that that's where almost everything came from? Yes. Was it inspirational? Yes. I mean, it's an awesome, I mean, it's the corniest looking restaurant. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
It feels like like a 1980s version of like a Disneyland for a chef, but it's so cool. It's so cool.
Well, what one of the thoughts I have on Restaurant Paul, and I haven't eaten there, so for clarity, but what my friend said, he's like, we've been making this food our entire career. He's like, now I know how it's supposed to taste.
Yeah.
Like, now it's like, oh, it wasn't supposed to taste the way I thought it was.
Yeah.
It looked like that, but it didn't taste like
France did that for me. I had never been to France, and I had only eaten at French restaurants in LA.
Yeah.
And I thought I didn't really care for French food.
Uh-huh.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's just like, I was like, I don't get what's so special. Then you go to France. And we started out in the south of France, and I'm like, this is Italian food. Well, you're sharing a border, and it's, coastal, it's Mediterranean. And then we go up, and we end up in Provence, and it's like, okay, we're starting to get there. And then we get to Lyon, and I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I finally get it. But you have to go to Lyon or travel France. You can't just eat French food in America.
Yeah.
It's like eating Chinese food in America and being like, I get it. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Go to China, and the food is like, I mean, the best bite of food I've ever had in my life was on like the western side of China and Lijiang. And the translate, we're sitting on like upside down buckets, and they described it as crispy pork. Uh-huh. And that dish, I'm like, I get why they stopped innovating 2,000 years ago. Like, that dish was done.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point, and I think a lot of people miss that. Like, you don't always have to be the new and the innovative. I say this a lot lately. Like, it's been on my mind. It's like, I don't want to try something and say, well, I'm glad I tried that once. I don't never try it again. I think it's harder to say, I tried that and I want to eat that every day for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
that is harder.
Yeah,
it might not be as glamorous, but it is harder to achieve.
The thing that's interesting is, like, as you perfect something, you let it go.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, as a chef, at least for me, I might be iterating a dish on the menu for years. Mm-hmm. And then once it's like done, it'll stay on for a while, but then it will move on for the next, because it's about striving for creating something.
Like this constant 1% better refinement.
Yeah. So I have a lot of friends now in comedy, uh-huh. And I go watch them, what they call working out. They'll go and they'll do the same set over and over and over again, and I'll watch it over and over and again. And I find it so interesting and inspiring, because I'll watch them take beats in different spots. Yeah. I'll watch them, hurry up a punchline, slow down a punchline, change just a single word, and they're trying to work it out. And to me, that's like every night. It's like, okay, let's do lemon, no. Grapefruit, no. You're just iterating until they finally get it. And then for a comedian, they put out the special, never do the joke again.
Sticking on the same subject as the comedian, with different iterations of food. Because sometimes we tweak food and it's like, okay, that's it. It's perfect. But it's perfect to us.
Yeah.
And like, we serve it and then the guest's like, meh. And you're like, you don't fucking get it. I wonder if the comedians would say, like, this is the perfect joke. You guys are all stupid.
Sure. For sure, there are comedians that go, why are you not laughing? This is funny, you idiots.
Yeah. This is way too fucking over your head.
But here's the thing with comedy and with food, with any art that you're trying to monetize. There's no purpose in being a starving artist who starves to death.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to figure out the balance between your artistic integrity and what will sell.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're very lucky, you'll be able to sell exactly the art that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, or some some iteration of that art. And so like I've always, really believed that when it comes to like accolades and all those types of things, the only accolade that really matters are people making reservations.
Right.
Restaurant. And there's a couple different types of restaurants. There's, hey babe, I'm hungry, it's Tuesday night. And then there's, I want to see what that chef's doing, And so when you start to become that type of chef, the idea is just cook food the way you want to eat it. So like I make a burger the way I want to eat it. I make sushi the way I want to eat it. And if nobody was to show up, I might have to be like, well, I have to change the way I make sushi a little bit.
Right.
But they do show up. And so the idea is like, oh, they like my palate, And so you have to understand, is it that they're wrong or is my palate wrong? And do I need to adjust my palate? Or is this like, am I making some art house film that nobody will ever understand? So maybe that needs to be my fourth film. Maybe I need to scale it back a little bit, get their trust, and then I hit them with the, pink flamingo or whatever.
Yeah, no, you bring up an excellent point. Going back, because I want to make sure that I want to make sure people understand how I feel about this, is that I think these really hard kitchens, and this is something that I learned in my career, probably like around 2013. I had already been a chef for a while, and I had to readjust how I approached people, because I think early on when we get intense in the kitchen, we made it personal.
Yeah.
A lot of chefs made it personal with me too.
Yeah.
Like I remember just being a cook and they'd say nasty things to me that were personal. My nickname in the kitchen was feto, which in Spanish means fetus, because I was the young kid in the kitchen.
I was the kid.
Yeah, the kid, right? Hey, kid. Or estupido was my other nickname, right? They're like, oh, because I was notoriously about a minute or two late every day for work. And the sous chef at the time, he used to play the pot. He would get the big rondeau and something, and bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And he'd say, "Hey, everyone, Estupido's here. 1 minute late, like always. Everyone, clap for Estupido." And I used to fucking hate it, but I wouldn't show up early. I just used to hate that.
Yeah.
And what I think the old generation did wrong is they made it personal, and they didn't make it about the performance. It wasn't, "Hey, you can't be late, because if you're late again, this is what happens, and I'm going to fire you."
Yeah.
And if they would have said that, I probably would have stopped being late.
Yeah.
But instead, they just called me a stupido, and I hated it, and they made a scene, and I just resented them for it. But I didn't change the behavior.
So I had a very interesting thing happen to me, somewhat similar. This reminds me. Do you know James Trees? Of James Trees?
No.
Very, very well known, very well respected chef out of Vegas. He now has Esther's Kitchen, a bunch of restaurants there.
I know the restaurants, yeah.
So I was a line cook when I was 20 years old for him when he was a sous chef at the Viceroy Hotel in Santa Monica.
Uh-huh.
And he called me the kid, and he broke my balls about everything, to the point where, like, one day, he pushed something back in the window towards me that was just like complete bullshit in my mind as a 20-year-old, right?
Right.
Complete bullshit, because I cared. It's all I wanted to do. And I see the other cooks sometimes putting up scallops that aren't seared perfectly.
Right.
And I put up scallops that I think are seared perfectly, and he's talking shit. And so one day I go, "Chef, can we go talk in the office?" When he's in. So we go in the office, and I'm like, I can't fucking do this anymore. Everything I do is never good enough. I'm working harder. I'm working fast. I'm doing everything I can. And he's like, "Philip, I'm going to tell you something. You might not believe me." He goes, there's a reason that because I was like, "It's not fair. Why are you mean to me and no one else?" And he's like, "There's a reason." He's like, "Because in 10 years, you're going to have a Michelin star. And in 10 years, these other cooks are still going to work here. And it would be a disservice to you if I let you get away with anything."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Fuck you. I don't believe you. You're just trying to get out of I quit." And I quit. As I got older, I realized, oh, he was doing that for me. And we're very, very close and good friends now. And he's right.
Yeah.
Some of those cooks still work there. And 10 years later, I did get a star. And So I think that there is, and he made it personal.
Yeah.
But he made it personal because he knew that's what I needed to get that push, you know?
Yeah. It's funny that you bring that up. One of the hardest things that someone has ever said to me as a chef when I was a cook is my chef came up to me. It was busy, wheels fall off the bus. We had too many orders and not enough cooks. And I was plating a dessert because I was working the station that had to pick up the desserts. And I just remember it was like a fucking bullshit. And I just zigzag, send it out. I didn't put any effort into the plating. And the chef that was calling the pass walks up to me, whispers in my ear. I'll never forget it because he didn't yell. He didn't humiliate me. He just said, "You're better than that."
Yeah.
And
it's
it
that
fucking hurt.
It's that I'm disappointed. It's that dad saying
Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
He said, "You're better.
You're not grounded. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, like still to this day, I could like just talking about it, like, fuck.
Yeah. I had a friend, I have a friend, one of my best friends, Brian, who actually became our GM at Sushi in Chicago and then opened as a GM in New York. He wasn't in the industry back then. I was 20. We've been friends since 6th grade. He ended up being, best man at my wedding. We were hanging out because, when you start cooking, you're not really hanging out with your friends anymore because you're working 100 hours a week. And one night we're just like drinking beers, catching up. And I was telling him how like I'm having this issue. I'm at the restaurant. It was actually at the Viceroy. Mm-hmm. I'm at the restaurant and I'm working garde manger for this story. It's so busy that I'm putting it in the window knowing it is not 100% correct. And he's like, "Why?" And I'm like, it's just so much. And like, I don't have time to fix it. And he goes, "But why don't you just do it right?" And I was like, "Well," and I gave him all, he's like, "But just do it right." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "No, but why would you not just do it right?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." Because that he's like, "Don't you think the guests would rather wait an extra 2 seconds for it to be correct? And add up those 2 seconds, you're fucking fine."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh." And then from there on, I never let a plate go out again that wasn't perfect.
Yeah. And that's a lesson that I feel like every cook has to go through.
Yes.
Every single cook has to go through. We've all put up that plate that we weren't proud of because we thought if I don't put it up in 10 seconds earlier, we're going to crash service. Like, no.
And now
crash service when they send it back.
Yeah. And now I say exactly what Brian said to me to my cooks very often. Dude, they've been waiting 15 minutes. They'd rather have it perfect at 16 minutes than wrong, or they'd rather have it perfect in 18 minutes than wrong in 16 minutes.
Right.
No guest is going to be mad that it took an extra minute to get it right.
Right. And that's something that I think is a very hard lesson when you're in the weeds.
Yeah.
And you're getting yelled at, and the person next to you is saying, I'm up with a veg. It's getting cold. Where's the protein?
Yeah. And when you're 20.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's one thing I wanted to mention. We were talking earlier about this sort of like, this I don't want to call it cancel culture, but what the internet is sort of like, teach. Like, I think it's important that chefs not be mean, but that they still hold a standard. Right. I remember applying at a restaurant when I was probably 20 still, and I had done a little bit of catering. So in my resume, it said executive chef of my personal catering company.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting down with the chef and him being like, I'm willing to hire you, but you need to take that off of your resume. It has to be off of your resume. And I'm like, but I am the chef. He's like, no, you're not. That's not, you have not, you're a line cook. You have not earned it yet. And now every young cook is a chef.
Right.
Because there's a very big misnomer between the title cook and the title chef. And I'm sure most everyone who's listening knows it, but I'll say it anyways because it's one of my favorite things to say. If I come to your house tonight and I cook you a great dinner, does not make me a great chef. Makes me a great cook. But if I bring 5 dudes from different walks of life who maybe do or don't know each other, and I get them to cook you a great dinner, that makes me a great chef. Mm. And so everyone thinks that, not everyone, but many people think that like, oh, my wife's a great chef because she makes a great chicken cordon bleu at home. No, your wife's a fucking phenomenal cook. There's nothing to take away from her.
Yeah.
She's not a chef.
Yeah, it's like when you prescribe yourself aspirin, you say, I'm a great home doctor.
Or it's like, I'm really good at basketball. I'm a great head coach. I'm a great manager. No, you're not. You're really good at basketball.
Yeah. That's so funny. I was thinking about this the other day because we talk about the old days, and I feel like we threw the baby out with the bathwater. It didn't all need to go out.
Well, the pendulum always overswings, and then it will correct. And we are getting towards the recorrection because it was wrong,
right?
And it went over,
yeah,
and it was wrong on the other side, and it's coming back that way.
One of the issues, so a lot of people, I mean, I feel like I'm the Ask Abby sometimes of chefs, and I get a lot of people that message me and say, hey, chef, I'm having this problem with whatever, and, they're not doing their job. What do I do? And I'm like, you just fucking tell them to do it. Like, why is that hard?
Yeah.
And I think in the old days, not the old days, like I'm an old timer, but
it is the old days.
The old days, like you just fucking told them. There was no like, they're fucking up. What do? Well, you tell them to stop fucking up.
Yeah.
And now we're so afraid, because we just thought, like, instead of saying stop fucking it up, you idiot, it's like no, just stop fucking it up. You can drop the you idiot part.
I went through a very so I became a sous chef young. I became a chef young. I was my first chef job in 2011. Which is 15 years ago, something like that. And I'm 38. So I was, in my early 20s, maybe I was 23, something like that. Was at a restaurant in Chicago called Park Grill. And, I had a cook who worked for me who sat me down one day, just much like I sat down, Chef James Trees, and he said to me, Chef, you've never once said good job to me. You've never once been nice to me. You only ever correct me. Now, I wasn't talking shit about his mom or anything, but I like that thing that Brian taught me. Why not make it correct? So we just don't let it go out wrong, which means I am going to correct every single thing every time, no matter what, because I don't turn a blind eye. I might miss it, but if I see it, I'm saying it.
Yep.
And my response to him was, you still work here. That's your good job. You get a paycheck. That's your good job. My job is not to sit here and pat you on the head. My job is to hold you accountable. If I didn't think you were good enough, you just wouldn't have a job here anymore. My job is not to say good job. He quit. And that was a huge eye-opener for me, because it really it showed me a couple of things. One, not everyone is there just to like I thought that everyone had my mindset. Whatever it hit me, talk shit to me, as long as I'm it's the price to pay to learn, from the best. Now, I wasn't the best at 23, so don't get me wrong, but it's still that mindset. But I realized right then that it's kind of like it doesn't matter how good your art is if you die a starving artist. It doesn't matter how perfect or how much I try to control the food if I have no team to cook it.
Right.
And so I had to start learning how to get them excited and get the food perfect. And you have to drop the you idiot. And you have to, really what it came down to is you just got to sort of lead a little bit more by example.
Yeah.
And you got to be excited. It's so easy to wear your heart on your sleeve when you're a chef. It's so easy to get overwhelmed by, if you don't own your restaurant, by the owner who's some fucking doctor who lives on a yacht who's talking shit to you because of your food cost. It's so easy to get, caught up in someone talking shit on Yelp. It's so easy to get caught up in the bathroom overflowing and so called in that you can easily walk into that kitchen and bring the morale down. When you have to be, it's like being the president. You have to walk in with the understanding of like, boys and girls, we are going to crush the fucking world today. Who's in with me?
Right.
No matter what happened. And as soon as I started doing that, I started to have, a team that would follow me into battle, excited and ready to die.
You set the tone completely as the chef. And this is like one of my biggest fucking pet peeves as a chef. Like, you go tell your sous, sometimes your sous chef or your exec sous becomes the person that you not, I don't want to say dump on, but like they might know shit because you got to tell someone.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I'm getting pressured. Like, we got to whatever. And then they go and tell the team, well, chef said, instead of saying, this is what we're doing.
What? So that's the thing is you've got to make sure. I had a chef, the same one who told me to take executive chef off my resume.
Yeah.
Warren Schwartz, amazing chef, legendary in Los Angeles. He told me, here's what you want in your sous chefs. Cooking is important. You want 2 or 3 dudes that you want standing behind you when a bar fight's about to go down. That's it. That's who you want. Which means they keep their fucking mouth shut. They swing when you swing without you having to fucking ask. That's what you want in a sous chef. You can teach them how to cook. You cannot teach that mindset. And so you have to know who your confidants are. Yeah. And it is the loneliest position is at the top because even there are things you can't tell your sous chef.
Right.
You know, you have to hold that. And it's so hard. It's so hard.
Oh, no doubt. Especially, you know, I was a young chef like you. I think I got my first exec when I was like 25. And looking back on my career, I thought, well, I was a really good cook, but I wasn't a really good chef. And there wasn't the emotional maturity to deal with the problems that I was going to face. Like, problems on a plate weren't my issue. It was problems with people that were my issue.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, how do I lead them? How do I get someone motivated to wash dishes all day?
Yeah.
You know, when it's fucking hot. And how do I motivate the team to, hey, the dishwasher broke down and we got to wash them all by hand. No one can go home.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, well, you're not fucking paying me enough. That was what was hard. It wasn't the cooking part that I struggled with.
Yeah.
Early on. It was, I just didn't know what I didn't know. Yeah, fuck. You're making me remember shit that I buried deep.
I mean, the way that I did it, because I was 25 when I opened my first restaurant as an owner.
Yeah.
When Scratch Bar opened, you know, it's hard to hire people younger than you when you're 23, 24, 25. Yeah. And so what I really started doing over the years was I stopped hiring based on resume, and I started hiring based on wanting to be here. And I started looking for people who wanted to get into the industry, and you'd bring them into your, because I grew up playing music. So I never was a solo artist. I'm a drummer. So I'm the backbone of a band, right? And we live together, we ride together, we die together. And so when I started taking sort of that approach to it, where it's like you apply for the dishwashing position, I would hire you because you're somewhat interested in food, and your job is to get the fuck out of the dishwashing station and get on that line. You know, and now I have, you know, I mean, today I have like almost 400 employees, and several of them have been with me for over a decade and started as dishwashers, and now like are overseeing 4 or 5 restaurants. You know, because to me it was, if you just hire a kid from Alinea, he's going to come in and argue with you about everything you want to do. And if you hire a kid who's excited because he's eaten at Alinea or he's heard of Alinea, you can start him in the dish pit and you can teach him every single thing there is to know about food, or at least everything that you want him to know about food.
I have so many things that I want to ask you, but the one thing that's on my mind, and I've been thinking about this a lot, is Fancy Chef. So I am just as fascinated.
The pinnacle of my my crowning achievement.
When I first discovered him, I thought, oh, he's trolling everyone.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes he'd wear like the like a scarf. He says the cereal box upside down. He's deliberately missing things.
Okay,
so is he trolling us? But then I thought, oh, maybe he's not.
Okay, so Tom, if you look at our like text thread, it's 80% Fancy Chef videos.
Is it? I fucking love the guy.
For the last like year and a half, I'm like 48 hours don't go by that Tom doesn't send me a Fancy Chef video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this dude is, it's got to be a bit. It has to be a character.
That's what I think.
But
then I started thinking it's not.
So when I decided for sure it's a character, was when Tom sent. No, I found the video, and it's one where there's 2 champagne flutes. One of them still has the sticker on it,
right,
and he's putting a slice of oranges
and he misses it
into it. He's like, beautiful and nice,
right,
beautiful, and then he misses and drops it next to it. Right. I'm like, dude. But Tom's like, at that point, Tom had already had him on YMH, and he was like, yeah, he's blind. And I'm like, so then we do this Fancy Chef, you know, competition.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know. I don't know if it's, part of me thinks it is and part of me thinks it isn't, because there was a moment where, so like I believed, still maybe, with a very light D, but I believed that this was a bit, right?
Like an Andy Kaufman style genius.
Yes.
That's what I thought as well.
100%. But as we were standing next to each other and Tom was about to announce the winner, I'm standing just behind him and Fancy, and he's got his glasses on. And when you can see somebody from behind their glasses?
Yeah.
Tom announces him winning, and I see his eyes well up.
Oh, really?
And I don't know why they kind of cut this, but like he gives an acceptance speech, and he's kind of fumbling over his words, which he never fumbles over. Like you can tell he's become emotional.
Wow.
And at that moment, I almost kind of felt bad.
Yeah.
But then I was like, dude, this dude's so good. I don't know. That the true honest answer is I've seen him on Instagram. I've shaken his hand in person. I've cooked great food against him. I talked to him afterwards. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, because some of it's like, because I'm a troll in real life. Like in real life, I'm a fucking troll. But I realize like what I do with Chef's Kiss is like, I don't think people would get my humor, so I tone it down. But I'm good at recognizing trolls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude's a fucking troll.
So here's the thing. If he had a mental disability, I feel like he would have like some young producer trying to capitalize on him.
Yeah.
And when he rolled up to the set to shoot that, he was solo.
Okay.
So it made me think that maybe this is his vision, not necessarily like somebody exploiting. Because like if you got someone who like really has, issues, you would think the only way they make that amount of videos is exploitation, right?
But he knows what to keep in the video. And that's like he was at 11 Madison. And he's talking to whoever's serving him, and he's like, this is Thomas Keller's restaurant, right? And the guy just rolled his eyes. But he keeps that in the video. So it's almost like he knows what people are going to like fucking, like everyone in the comments. He just called him Thomas Keller.
Here's what you can take away. Regardless of whether it's real or it's a bit, it's genius. It's art at its highest form.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom and I had been talking for literally over a year about, dude, we got to do a cooking competition.
Yeah.
We got to put him, like, he's going to come on and do his stuff, and I'm going to come on and fucking beautiful, I'm going to make it beautiful and nice.
Right.
And just how funny would that be? And the day before it came out, Tom texts me and goes, dude, I just saw it. He's like, I think this is the funniest thing we've ever made.
I fucking love. You know what's crazy is in a lot of chefs behind the scenes, similar to yours and Tom's text. Like I got a lot of fancy chef DMs in mine too.
Yeah,
and
you should have him on the pod.
Can he carry a conversation for?
Dude, I think he would overwhelm the conversation.
Really?
Oh my, yes. I think that would be such an interesting person for you to have on, because nobody knows his real backstory, and nobody knows his fake backstory either, whether it's real or not. But like, I mean, he's a character. I mean, we're cooking, he's like, hey, cook this for me, do that for me, do this for me.
He was peeling the carrot with the knife, but like scraping it.
Yeah, I mean, when he was, I didn't see it, but Josh told me when he was breaking down the cauliflower for the dish that he didn't cook.
Yeah,
he was breaking it down by hand. He was just pulling off nubs and like, so in the salad, it had like nubs like this big of raw cauliflower.
Oh fuck, it's crazy. But one of the things that some of my DMs with the other chefs is like, he came in and he's eating everyone's lunch in the content creation world.
Yeah.
Like there's content creators that are putting all this effort into making these cool videos. And I'd love to get Josh Wiseman's take on it. It's like, he's coming in and out of nowhere, 100,000 followers, and no one can fucking stop talking.
Well, I mean, it's kind of out of nowhere, but also Tom found him.
Yeah. Like 2013, he's been doing this.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what Tom does. I mean, like, do you know Sam's Taylor?
No.
Okay. So Tom found this dude in Hong Kong named
Oh,
Sam's
yes,
Taylor.
yes. I saw that.
And
or he slapped him on the ass or something.
Yeah. So I actually filmed part of that video in Hong Kong.
Yeah,
I got myself a Sam's Taylor shirt. But yeah, I mean, Tom has this ability to like find wackadoos, and or just like the biggest characters, and he puts them on YMH, and then they go.
Yeah.
And some fall off very quickly. Some have some actual substance to them, and then they hold on. So, I mean, like, Fancy's held on for, I mean, he's had a spotlight on him for over a year now.
So I had someone on the podcast that was a Fancy Chef fan, just like me, and we said this on
He
the
should
show.
put out a cookbook, dude.
He
should put out a cookbook.
Fucking lamb chops
Fancy.
with ranch.
Put out a
strawberries and
cookbook,
ranch.
dude. You'll be a New York Times bestseller.
So we told the audience, we said, if anyone could find the first Fancy Chef video, screenshot it and send it to me, I would send them a book or whatever, right? And I was like, well, before I got to verify what is his first video. It took me almost 2.5 hours of scrolling before I found the very first Fancy Chef video. I was like, fuck, when did he start? It just goes on forever.
Yeah.
Finding the bottom of that is absolutely insane. And
Was he doing the same thing back then?
Yeah. Yeah, it was the exact same stuff. So
what year was that?
I want to say it might have felt like 2013. I don't know exactly, but yeah, it's been and
12 years would be a long time to do a bit when no one's watching.
Right, and you're right, because it's like I think the very first video, I don't remember, but it's like crab legs. He has a thing for crab legs, fucking king crab, and he's pulling them out of the bag and they're dripping everywhere. But he's great. I love Fancy Chef. Fancy Chef, if you're listening, I can't afford you, but if you'll jump on the podcast next time you're here, I'd love.
But when he presents Tom the John Segura,
yeah. And he says, no, you called me John Segura. No, I said Tom. I said Tom.
Rewinds to John.
Yeah, that was great. It was one of the most entertaining things that I've seen. I'm a Fancy Chef fan, and it's crazy because what I find even more interesting is when chefs, like, I don't want to say real chefs, but like people in the industry are commenting he's not a real chef, like. Dude,
who gives
what
a
the fuck are you guys worried about?
He's making fun and funny things online.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Like he's destroying our industry. He's like,
no, he's not. No, he's not.
I want to tell people, like, dude,
shut up.
Fucking get over it. Like he's great.
If you have the time to talk shit about whether or not Fancy Chef is a chef online, you need to be spending more time tornaying potatoes in your fucking basement.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're lacking. I can't remember who said it. Might have been Joe, might have been David Goggins. Somebody said, nobody more successful than you will ever talk shit about you, nor will they care about how successful you are. They will only ever try to bring you up.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're talking shit about Fancy Chef, dude, and you're taking the time,
fucking one,
you need to be working on yourself. You have too much time.
Get your weight up, as they say. Get your weight up. You were talking with Joshua, but I was listening to one of your episodes where you're talking about how quickly you open restaurants and kind of what the process was. I don't remember what it was, so I don't even want to re-quote it, but I remember when I heard it, I was like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, so I come from a DIY punk rock hardcore background.
Yeah.
Right? I dropped out of school when I was 15. I started touring when I was 14. I dropped out of school to tour like almost full time when I was 15. And back then, it's like before you go on a full U.S. tour, you print out MapQuest directions and use a Thomas guide, right? And every city you go to, you stop by Hot Topic or the local skate park and you flyer, right? And then you play a bowling alley to 150 kids, and then you eat top ramen, and then you sleep on a floor. And if it was a great night, you sold a lot of merch, you get to go to Wendy's, right? So like that's my core upbringing. And so when Marguerite and I opened our first restaurant, we did it with that mentality. And everything we've done has been from sort of that mentality. Pre-pandemic, we got up to so when we first opened, her and I had 100% of our restaurants.
Yeah.
By the time the pandemic hit, we only had 50% of our restaurants because we had brought in some money guys. By end of 21, we had the opportunity to sell Sushi Bar, ATX here, to a private equity firm. And it would allot us the ability to turn around and buy out all of our partners in all of our California restaurants, retaking 100%. So we did that. So now we're back to 100%. And then what happened is about 2 weeks after, the private equity firm sued her and I for $15 million. And I don't know if you've ever been involved with lawsuits or litigation. I hope not. And if you have, I hope you never do. If you haven't, I hope you never do. But the way it works is if you can't defend yourself, you lose. And I had no money. I only had assets. My assets were my restaurants. So if I don't defend myself, I would end up losing all of my restaurants, is what I was told. So I had to defend myself. How do you do that? You have to get an attorney. attorneys cost a lot of money.
Sure. Yeah.
I needed to generate revenue. That's why I opened so many restaurants.
Wow.
And so, because I had that DIY background, we could just fucking do it. And so we would, I mean, and now lawsuits have been over for a couple of years. I'm still doing this. I've recently heard that there's a term for it. It is called Parkinson's Law. Have you heard this?
Yes.
Yeah. So Parkinson's Law, for anyone doesn't know, it basically is a law that states that, and this is, every chef out there will know this, any task will either shrink or grow to the size of the time allotted.
Mm-hmm. It's like your prep list.
Exactly like your prep list. You give a dude 4 things on his prep list to get done before service, he's barely, we're done on time.
Yep.
You give him 30 things to do before service, he's barely done on time, right? It's the same fucking thing.
Right.
So we had to generate revenue. Now, I'm lucky because my father-in-law builds all of our restaurants. Mm-hmm. He's on salary with the company. All I got to do is take out a credit card from Lowe's or Home Depot to buy all the materials. And then him and I, we'll show up. We'll basically rent an apartment a month before, opening day. Him and I will, build the whole thing. When I say him and I, he builds it. He's like, scalpel, and I'll hand him this,
Right.
And then we open a restaurant. But also, our restaurants are designed to be we open 800 square foot restaurants with 10 seats,
So for people that aren't familiar with your restaurants, can you kind of give an overview of how many you have and what the different concepts are?
27 restaurants in total today.
Wow. That's a small amount.
You could fit them all in Nobu's biggest restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest restaurant's 10 seats.
Uh-huh.
But actually that's not true. There's an NADC in Denver that's pretty fucking big. But still only one thing on the menu. Mm-hmm. So 27 restaurants total. We have NADC Burger, Not a Damn Chance, with
Mm-hmm.
Neen Williams and myself.
How many of those do you have?
I think 10 or 11 now.
Uh-huh.
Just opened one in the casino in Vegas last week. New York City, several in Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, Nashville, couple in Chicago.
Yeah.
And we're continuing to grow that. And then Sushi by Scratch Restaurants, mm-hmm. formerly known as Sushi Bar. And I believe there's 13 of those. Mm-hmm. And we're in 13 cities, or I think 11 cities actually, because there's 2 in Austin and 3 in Southern California. But from Seattle down to Miami. And that restaurant did get a Michelin star in 21 and 22. And then we have Pasta Bar, 2 locations, one in Los Angeles, one here. Pasta Bar also got a Michelin star last 5 years straight.
Got one in Austin, by the way, I think.
Yeah, so Michelin sometimes takes a couple years to get a city right,
yeah,
in my opinion. We didn't even get a recommendation, mm-hmm. which suggests one of 2 things. We're so bad.
Not true.
Dan's
a stud.
I know.
Yeah.
Or you have to recognize that they had 3 months to review every restaurant in Texas.
Yeah.
Now, we are not the hottest restaurant. We're not who all the bloggers are talking about. We're not who Matthew Odom is on his, mm-hmm. on his list. So what happens is when Michelin comes to a new city, they oftentimes they have a very small amount of time to review. And so they'll go to they'll check out they'll pull up the biggest reviewers, the biggest whatever, mm-hmm. who's on who should I be looking at?
Right.
We're not on anyone's list. Don't know why. We, up until I think very recently, we were the first and only tasting menu only restaurant mm-hmm. in Austin history, maybe. There are restaurants that you can do.
I used to do a tasting menu here before. And
okay.
Barley Swine, I think, does, right?
Does, but tasting menu only.
Okay, then you are correct.
Yeah.
You are correct.
So if you consider omakase, then yes, Otoko.
Yeah.
Right? But Otoko was the only omakase before we opened Sushi.
Uh-huh.
Then we were the second one to do a tasting menu. And then when Pasta Bar opened, it was the first restaurant where it's just tasting menu only. Mm-hmm. That I'm aware of. There may have been, but I don't think there is.
No,
I think Barley Swine.
They're tasting menu /
yeah.
a la carte.
To me, it's if you go to a restaurant and they have a tasting menu, that is one thing. It's a very different operation
right.
to not have happy hour at your bar, to not have appetizers, but to say it costs $200 to enter our doors, and that's it. So I mean, there's a reason that in LA, we've been crushing for 5 years, and we're on the lists, and here we're not, because in LA we're not the first taste. LA's already used to that style of restaurant. Austin isn't yet, but it's not. I mean, I'm working on another new tasting menu restaurant right now for Austin, and going to continue. But I think Michelin will come around, and I
think they should have. I mean, with all due respect, I think you should have gotten a star. I was surprised, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I was surprised that you didn't, because I was like, that's one of the best. People that know.
Here's the thing. Frankland doesn't get a star. Frankland doesn't get a star.
Yeah.
I'm not taking away from Allie and Leanne, rest in peace. I'm not taking away from that at all. But Frankland doesn't get a star.
Right.
That's.
Honestly, I was all surprised Uchi didn't get anything. I mean, they put Austin on the map.
They did. Uchi should have got a Bib Gourmand.
They should have got something.
Uchi shouldn't get a star, but I think if you ask Tyson Cole himself, he's not going for a star there. Right? So, I mean, there's this huge misunderstanding and about Michelin. Like, I don't know if you saw all of like the local critics who were like guessing on who was going to.
Yeah. Well, when I saw that list, I thought they're fucking crazy. But when I saw the awards, I was like, okay, they got some of them right.
They did get some right. There was some, to me, I thought that there was going to be between 0 and 3 restaurants getting 1 star in Austin.
Yeah.
And none of the restaurants that I thought were getting a star got a star.
Yeah.
Unless, in my mind, they go barbecue, because like LA, everyone was mad they didn't go tacos, right? So I'm like, there's a chance they don't go to barbecue, so that wasn't really in my list.
Yeah.
And if they go barbecue, of course it's going to be La Barbecue and Franklin. But like, Jeffrey's not even on the list.
Yeah.
Jeffrey's one of the best steakhouse in the country. That should have a Michelin star.
Yeah.
To me, if you're when you're looking at it, but again, give them some time.
There's the business of Michelin as well, and I'll leave it at that.
I don't even know how the business goes. I have no idea, but I do know that if you look at some of the more prominent critics in Austin, and you look at their favorite restaurants, they line up pretty closely with who got stars and who got bibs and who got
What I think. By the way, you and your brother both got a star, which I think is fucking wild. First of all, I didn't know you had a brother that was the chef.
So Lennon Lee, actual brother. Everyone thinks like I was introducing him at the Michelin ceremony in California a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, it's my brother. Like, yo, it's my brother. But I'm like, no. Same mom, same dad, same household. Like my brother.
Yeah.
He started when he was 18 as my dishwasher, just because he needed a job.
Yeah. How far apart are you?
7 years. So when he was 18, I was 25. I was 25 when I opened Scratch Bar. He was our dishwasher. And over the years, he went from dish to prep to line to sous to chef. And he spent 9 years with me. He's never worked for anybody else.
Call you chef?
He doesn't call me chef.
When you guys work together, did he call you chef?
When you're on the line.
Yeah.
If I'm cooking, so here's who chef is in my world.
Sure.
Expo is chef.
Yeah. Whoever's in charge of
anyone who you answer to is chef.
Yeah. I'm the same way.
And so if I'm on the line, it's yes, chef. I don't. It's not about the hierarchy for me. It's about chief. Yo, coach, what do you want from me?
Yeah. If you're cooking on the line and your sous chef's calling, he's chef.
Doesn't matter who the fuck's out there. If they are conducting the orchestra, they are the chef for the moment.
Right.
So my brother, he was running the kitchen at Scratch Bar in like 2016 or 17 it must have been. And I made a decision one afternoon that I was going to let my head chef go at Sushi, and in Encino, where our originals were, we had 3 storefronts next to each other with one back of house. So then I connected all of them so that I could get one liquor license for all of my concepts.
Okay.
And so I'm like, yo, Lennon, I need you in Sushi. And he's like, I'm like, oh, here's a fucking apron. Get in there. You'll be fine. I'll show you what's up. He gets in there. And within 6 months, he's got a fucking sushi knife tattoo. He was always saying prior to that, I like working for family. I don't give a shit about food, but like he comes from like, from a he's the dude, he is the dude you want in a fucking bar fight.
Yeah.
He is so it's like it didn't I'm like, Lennon, go fix that. And he goes and he fucking fixed that and he makes sure no one's fucking with his brother.
Yeah.
Right? Family's a big thing. So he goes into there and falls in love with sushi. When we go to open our second location in Montecito, I had already moved him up there to work at because we had 3 restaurants in Montecito. The third one was Sushi. He was already living up there, and by this time he was like really into sushi, and he was going to be the head chef of that location. And opening day, the day of opening day, he comes to me and goes, "Hey, can you not work behind the line? I want to work the middle." He's like, "Can you sit down? I want to work the middle." And I was like, "Are you sure? You ready?" And so I sat down in the first seating. So I've never sat down in my restaurant on opening day. I did that for my brother to let him have his moment. Fast forward 2 years, when I get my first Michelin star, I get it for Pasta Bar and Sushi Montecito at the same time. And so Lennon was behind the counter. Now back then, he did have a little bit of little bit of touches in the menu, but primarily it was, were my dishes. And the thing that I think I'm the most proud of now, because he was there for a couple years and then he got an offer he couldn't refuse, broke off, took him a couple years to open his restaurant, opened in 24, and within 3 months got a recommendation in the guide. Following year, gets his first star, which Michelin, you probably saw that article that Michelin put out. It's hard to make history in Michelin, and we are the first brothers in the history of Michelin to each hold stars at our own restaurant. So like you got the Roca brothers, you have a lot of brothers who work together and get stars, but we're the first ones to get stars independently of each other simultaneously. And the thing that I'm the most proud of is, and you've probably noticed this, like you go to a restaurant where it's like, it's an alum of EMP or wherever, and they get a star, and their menu is very much EMP.
They still haven't figured out their identity yet? Yep.
Lennon's not doing my food.
Which is great.
He's not doing my food. He is doing a 10-seat omakase only, 10 guests arrive at the same time, but that's just the style of restaurant. He doesn't do my rice. He doesn't do the way I treat the fish. He doesn't do my soy sauce. And so to me, that's the most proud, because I've never been a chef who taught recipes. I think recipes are for the birds. I don't like recipes. For a burger, I do a recipe, right? Because it's consistent and a lot of stuff is shelf stable, etc. But like, if you have a recipe for your beet puree and you've got 8 grams of sugar and 3 grams of lemon juice, what about when the beets are sweeter or less sweet, right? So what I've always taught is approach and philosophy. I don't want you to make the dish taste exactly the same. I want you to make it taste fucking delicious every single time. And so the thing that I'm the most proud that I feel like I, that I imparted on him was just showing him it could be done, and showing him how to organize a restaurant that can be at a star level. But honestly, when he got a star, that was the most proud moment of, I think, my career.
Yeah, congratulations. That's pretty cool. Like, that's a really incredible moment to share with a brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. When I saw that, I was like, oh, wow.
And in front of all, because it's California where I grew up, and in front of all the chefs, who
they're all there. Thomas and...
Well, Michael Cimaresti is like my favorite chef from Providence.
Oh, he just got 3, right?
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
For him, congrats.
And before the ceremony starts, Michael comes over. I'm kind of like a honorary alum. I never got paid to work there, but I worked there for free for a long time. Even though you can read online a million places that I worked there, I didn't. I did not get paid, but people still write that. But like he comes out, him and Donato come over and say, hey, congratulations, blah blah, before the ceremony. Introduce him to my little brother, and so then like after the ceremony, Chef Michael comes over and gets my brother's phone number. You know what I mean? Like, that's just so fucking cool.
Yeah, very, very, very cool. Yeah, and I mean, how cool is that to share that with your brother, to see him coming up? Not only, I'm not saying you raised him, but he looked up to you as big brother, and then now, like, I mean, that's so cool.
I mean, and the thing is, like, he only ever worked with Margarita and I.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the cool thing too, is like my wife, who I haven't given enough credit on this podcast to, who's my business partner and, you know, pastry chef. I've gotten to share that, you know, with them the whole time.
Can we talk about what you're opening soon?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't think, well, I've touched on it, but I have not really, I've not made an announcement out loud yet.
Yeah.
But I also don't give a shit. So we'll break it here, kind of.
Yeah, awesome.
I bought a piece of property about 30 minutes from downtown, west of Austin. Couple of acres. Just got my next door neighbor's got a land lease on that, so I'll be able to about 4 acres. I live out there in Dripping Springs, and you know, we touched on the fact that we have 27 restaurants, which means, and you'll get people probably on here hating, he's not a chef anymore. He's not. No shit, I'm not. Well, chef, again, is just the word chief. It's like saying that the director is not the director because he didn't have any speaking lines. That's not really how that works. But you know, I don't do the job that I got into the love of the game for anymore. I can't. You know, I'm there for all the openings. I'm there to work with the teams. I'm there to you know, to inspire and to train, and I'm there to do special events, and I'm there to do, you know, those types of things. But I'm not working the line daily at any restaurant. I can't. It's not what what if one of my restaurants required me to be there? It would fail. I can't. And so now Marguerite and I have a 3-year-old daughter, and we bought this piece of property a couple of years ago, actually, with this ambition, and we've been working on it for a couple of years. There's a, you know, couple of acres. It's got a 150-year-old pioneer era log cabin on it, and like the one that's actually, like, there's no drywall. It's made out of slices of tree, right?
Okay.
And they stack up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to open a luxury bed and breakfast. We're building 4 small 1-bedroom cabins on site. I'm going to have 1.5 acres of a garden. Going to have Longhorn dairy cows that I'm going to finish on the mash from Texas Olive Oil Company right down the road. Also, I'm going to get some beer mash from Jester King. That's what I will feed my dairy cows. Our whole thing since the beginning is scratch, right? From scratch. So we're taking it even further. We're like, we've always made our own butter. Now we're going to milk our own cows.
Right.
You know, I saw this thing years ago. World's 50 Best posted this picture of a restaurant that had, like, a, you know, the cheese trolley. And I was like, that's so sick. And then I read, it's like, restaurant sources all the best cheeses from around the world. I'm like, so does Whole Foods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, but how sick would that be if they made all of those cheeses? So like at Scratch Bar, I had a cheese program of like 4 or 5 different cheeses that were aged up to 2 years. So we're going to have a huge cheese program. We're going to have goats for dairy as well. We're going to have chickens for eggs. We're going to have ducks that I'm going to attempt to gavage. I don't know if it'll fucking work, but I'm going to try. We're going to have an apiary on site, and going to go hunt for the rest of the proteins on the menu. And this one will be our attempt at 3 Michelin stars and World's 50.
Yeah.
And this will be, it's not going to be an inexpensive restaurant, as I'm sure you can imagine. And it's going to be a tasting menu, obviously, but it's going to be a kind of restaurant where it's like, it's going to be a full-blown experience. Like, you're going to pull into the property, and we're going, like, the best way to do this restaurant is you're going to spend probably about an hour or so just on property, you know, and by the time you sit down for dinner, you've already had 2 cocktails and 7 or 8 canapes. But then you sit down for dinner, there's no gas in the house, where the original fireplace will be cooking in that. I just got it from Homewood Stoves. I think it's Homewood Stoves in New Zealand. I got the sickest cast iron wood burning range. And then after you have your final savory, you'll go through the French doors to the backyard by the fire pit. That's where you'll have after dinner drinks and desserts. And we're going to go. And the thing is, this is a 3-minute drive door to door from where I live. And I wanted a lifestyle restaurant again.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been a chef in too long. I've been a businessman for too long. And I've lost the, I need to cook. I need to cook. I love to cook. And, but I also have a 3-year-old daughter, and I need to be the best father in the world. And so I want to have a 3-star restaurant that, like, the dogs are running around the yard, the cat is running through the thing. I'm expoing with my daughter in my arms, because this is going to be a bed and breakfast, and it's going to, we technically live, a 3-minute drive, 5-minute drive, but you're going to feel like we live on site.
Yeah.
By the front door, I'm going to have all of my chefs put their boots by the front door, and then have their, clogs in the kitchen type of situation. So, like, you're going to come in and, like, I'm in a 150-year-old house.
That sounds amazing.
And that's our masterpiece. That's our piece de resistance. That's, we got invited to cook during the World's 50 Best ceremony in Vegas last year. And it was an incredible honor to be there. And I met so many people, and, cooked for so many amazing chefs. Virgilio from Central comes in and goes, "Chef, this is amazing. I love the sushi. You should come down and do a guest chef at Central." Chef from Maido comes in right after being the third, I think it was number 3 best restaurant in the world, and they got number 1 this year. He comes in, for sushi. Chef, this is amazing. Come do a pop up at Maido. All these types of things, but then I'm like, I don't possess a restaurant that's worthy of the World's 50. I don't. Pasta Bar is arguably 2 stars, not World's 50. And Sushi for sure is a 1-star solid, but not anywhere near. But we've had this property now since 2022, and we just broke ground. Like, we're actually, like, it sucks because the actual 150-year-old log cabin, the foundation was shot. So as we started the remodel, they were like, we got a demo. So what I had to do was pay extra and have them, instead of demo, they disassembled tree by tree. And now what we're going to do is we're going to build a brand new structure, but take the original, like, they're like 12 by 8-inch logs, split them, and clad the entire thing. So it's still, the spirit will still be encased in the same wood.
It sounds incredible. Congratulations. When are you thinking live? Assuming all goes well. Because I know how quickly you open restaurants.
Well, this is the one, I don't spend a lot of money opening restaurants, and I don't spend a lot of time opening restaurants. This one I'm spending time and money.
Okay.
And this one I'm actually have some investors involved with, because to do this right, it's going to cost a few $1 million. But I'm hoping to have this open by late spring, early summer. The thing is, once we're done, we're built, I'm going to give myself 8 months. I'm going to hire I'm not hiring a CDC for this concept. I'm going to be the CDC. Marguerite will be the pastry chef. I'm going to hire a sous chef or a head chef, kind of, but so about 6 to 8 months before we open, I'll bring on my chef, I'll bring on my GM, and I'm hiring anyone out there wants this job, hit me up. I'm looking for a director of culinary agriculture.
Oh, there you go.
I want someone who, like, was a chef, but also has a degree in horticulture and is aged out of the kitchen. And that job is, like, planning the next season of, like, the garden, and organizing the hunts and organizing the fishing trips, and then harvesting and, preserving charcuterie, cheese program, all of those types of things. And so in order for us to be a restaurant like this, I need a minimum of 8 months for my charcuterie and cheese program prior to opening the doors. Because I don't want to be the restaurant's like, we do all this cool stuff. We'll do it. You'll see it next year if you come back.
Right.
So we need to have the restaurant built and a small team to, like, we have to build our larder, which is going to take us, 8 months.
Well, Chef, normally when I start wrapping up the show, I like to get some nitty-gritty chef advice for the listeners, and also pick your brain. Let's talk about your work in the pass, and you have your finishing station. What's the salt?
What's the salt?
Salt.
For finishing.
For finishing.
Bali.
Bali.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Big Tree Farms. Shout out Big Tree Farms. Out of Bali. It's the best salt in the world. It just I've not tried every salt in the world.
Yeah.
But it shits on every salt I've ever tried.
Okay.
And
is it flaky? Like
no. It's a rock salt. My wife and I, being chefs, every opportunity we've traveled the world quite extensively, and every opportunity we have where we're in a city or even we're near a city that has like a salt mine, we go. We've been to the salt mines in Miraz and in Peru. We've been to the all over, and we actually got married in Bali, and we found this salt. And I put it in my mouth. I was like, holy shit. It's the only thing I will use. So when I'm looking for finishing salt, there are two characteristics I'm looking for. The salinity level, I want it dialed all the way down. I don't want salty salt. And two, the texture. This is almost effervescent. It almost crunches like a pop rock. Okay. So it adds this incredible like micro crouton, like perfectly fried.
Where do you get it? I've never tried it.
So for many, many years, I would send somebody once a year to Bali.
Okay.
And they would, Dan Foote actually would do it a lot. He's now, he's been with me for well over a decade, but go say what's up to Dan over at Sushi by Scratch on 6th and Brazos downtown Austin. He's over there. But he'd send him out there and he'd come back with 100 pounds. I'll be honest, I don't know what purveyor we order it from now.
Got it.
But I know that
someone will find it. They'll hit us up in the comments.
Yeah, I can find out and let you know. But I haven't done any ordering.
Is it your all-purpose work salt, or is it only your finishing?
Only for finishing.
What's your all-purpose?
Diamond Crystal.
Diamond Crystal.
Okay. Yeah, I won't. I don't like Morton's.
No one likes Morton Chef. No, I'm just kidding.
They make you use it on Top Chef, and I was like, this it changes the flavor of everything. Why can't we use a salt that actually is good?
Right, and you have to learn how to re-season with Morton's. Yeah.
I worked in a restaurant called Hatfields. It was my first sous chef job in a 1-star. It was my second sous chef job, but first in a 1-star, and we used baleen.
Yeah.
So I know how to use
fine.
Yeah, I know how to use baleen, and one of the reasons we use baleen, and I love this idea. We left them in the canister because when you're seasoning, your fingers are always a little bit wet and you can't really control. So the salt can get clumped.
Sure.
So in baleen, you always have a perfect.
What's your finishing go-to acid? General
acid?
Yeah.
Lemon. Always lemon. Yeah.
And
house seasoning at Scratch restaurants is olive oil, lemon juice, sea salt.
Yeah, there you go. Specific olive oil?
I really like Texas Olive Oil Company.
It's good, huh?
I really like it. And at the new restaurant, I will be. I'm discussing with them right now. I'll definitely be using them.
Yeah.
But I want to be doing a tableside fresh olive oil press.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and we're gonna see how we can make that. Worst case scenario. I mean, I say we're only going to serve what we grow and hunt. Yeah. We're not only going to serve what we grow and hunt.
Right.
I mean, the thing is, like, if you get a carrot on the plate, that carrot came from our garden. But if it's done with a sauce of like 400 pounds of onions cooked down to a cup, that's not coming from our garden. That's coming from the onion guy that's a quarter mile down the road. Right. So that's kind of the but like vinegars we'll be making, all those types of things. But like the olive oil, if I can't press it myself for whatever reason, I will be getting it from them. Because again, I feel like the idea, and it's kind of like, we were talking about earlier about like being creative and going, pushing food forward. But there's this idea of like, I think we've pushed really far forward. Yeah. It's time to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
It's time to go like, and I've been, Scratch Bar was a 25-course tasting menu only restaurant, no servers, and 16-foot fireplace, no ovens, no stoves, no nothing, just a fireplace. And that opened in 2013, yeah. We switched, we moved in 2015. That's when we became the fireplace restaurant. And I mean, that's just my favorite way to cook is just with fire. And I feel like American cuisine still kind of lacks identity.
Yeah.
I mean, the French Laundry still still holds the torch for what is fine dining in America. No one's really taken that I, you know, I mean, there's been restaurants who definitely compete at that level. You could argue there's restaurants that are better, but there aren't, like, you know, like take Alinea, for example. That hasn't become the standard for American cuisine. It's the fucking best food you can get in America, but it hasn't become the standard for American cuisine.
Yeah.
And so I've always found it interesting that the standard for American cuisine is a French restaurant.
Right.
And there's nothing more American than hunting in the plains of Texas and cooking it in a fireplace,
right,
in a 150-year-old log cabin, and milking your own cows. And so I'm not trying to reset the standard, but I've done all the like I personally want to go back.
If you had, well, let me ask you this one last question on the station, and then I want to ask you the last question: green tape or blue tape, or does it not?
I don't care.
You don't care.
Pick one.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Stick to it.
But I don't care.
You don't care. Okay, so you're not
scissors. Yes.
Scissors, yes. Not tape cutters.
It could be scissors. It could, if you have the thing, it has to be clean.
Clean, yeah.
And if it's a perforated clean, that's fine too.
Yeah.
It can't be.
Right.
It's not hand ripped. So we always have like the tape dispensers with the you know.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah.
If you had your Mount Rushmore, 4 chefs that you think were the biggest influence for you.
For me.
Yeah. Who would they be?
Influenced my style of cuisine, influenced my career in being a restaurateur.
Whoever you want to give their flowers.
Michael Cimarusti's on it. Quinn Hatfield is on it. I kind of feel like David Chang is on it. Never worked for him. Never even eat. I mean, I've eaten at, like, you know, Noodle Bar and a couple things, but I watched his career.
Yeah.
And I was like, he kind of had this mentality of like, I don't kind of give a fuck what you think. I'm just going to kind of do what I want. And I definitely have been guilty of that, just doing what I believed in. So he, you know, Chef Michael's on that because Providence is my favorite restaurant. And that was the first restaurant that like was like, holy shit. Like I went there and I was like, he came, like I was like 21 and like he came out to the table because he heard that I was a cook because my mom told him.
Yeah.
Told the server. And I was like, can I sweep the floors, like just to be in your kitchen?
Yeah.
You know, Quinn Hatfield is from Hatfield's, no longer there, but that's the restaurant that I credit learning how to cook. I mean, it was my second sous chef job, and clearly I knew how to cook, but like this was like a restaurant that there was no tongs allowed in the restaurant. You had one towel and you had a coon spoon. That's it. There was no oil on the line. You would unwrap 20 pounds of butter. Your butter could not break. And you're pan frying to order, you're braising to order in butter, and it cannot break. Everything's a 7-pan pick. That's where and we're doing tasting menus for 200 people.
Wow.
You know, that's it's now Meteora, same restaurant that Jordan has made into Meteora. In Hollywood. So those two from like the cooking standpoint. We have David Chang from the restaurateur standpoint. Also, Quinn Hatfield, his wife famously was his pastry chef.
Right.
And his kids would, you know, see him coming around the restaurant. So like that's inspiring for me with my family, you know. Number 4. I think number 4 goes to Thomas Keller. Yeah, I think number 4 goes to Thomas Keller. Because he's just such a fucking class act.
Yeah.
I got the opportunity when I was in culinary school. This is actually the story leads to why I dropped out of culinary school. Got the opportunity in culinary school to go to the French Laundry and sit in the private dining room for one of my. While I was in culinary school, I was also a cook at 2 restaurants. I was working at Providence for free, and then I was working at the Viceroy and then Westside Tavern. while I was in culinary school. So 7 days a week, basically morning to night, didn't sleep. I'd drive to culinary school, sleep in my car, go to school, drive to Santa Monica to the restaurant, sleep in my car, go to work, drive to culinary school, sleep in my car. And then on my 2 days off, work at Providence. Fuck, I just lost. Where was I going?
Thomas
Keller. I get invited by one of my chefs for his birthday to go to the French Laundry and have a lunch there in the private dining room with all of my chef friends and cooks, and there's like 10 of us. And I go to my chef instructor at culinary school, and we were in an egg class, a breakfast class. And that week we were going to do eggs. And they had a very strict rule. If you miss 2 days, you fail. And I went and said, hey, I have this opportunity. I'm going to need to miss 2 days. And they said, if you do, you'll fail. And I said, listen, we're doing eggs. I was a line cook at BLD, which was breakfast, lunch, and dinner was what it stood for. It was Neil Fraser's restaurant in Los Angeles. 400 cover brunches, 8 pans of eggs going at a time.
I get it.
I know on Friday we're learning how to boil an egg,
but
like, dude, come on. And they're like, I'm sorry, rules are rules. I'm like, I should get extra credit for going to the French Laundry. Sorry, rules are rules. Fuck you. I quit school. So I go to go. Incredible dinner, right? See the garden, the whole deal. The next day, we're having brunch at Bouchon. And we see Thomas Keller is sitting at a table inside of Bouchon. We're on the patio. And our table, we just basically go, we want to send our regards to chef. We'd like whatever we'd love to buy a bottle of whatever they're drinking. Doesn't matter. Like, we want to send a bottle. We had an amazing dinner last night at French Laundry. We're all huge fans, So he doesn't come over. Nothing. We finish our lunch, and it's like taking kind of forever to get our check. And like eventually we have to be like, hey, can we get it's been 45 minutes since we were done eating.
Right.
And chef comes out, says hello to us, takes pictures with us, shakes our hands, blah, blah. He leaves. Soon as he leaves, they come and drop the check. And the check says, thank you for the wine. And that's the entire check.
Wow.
And he's been a beacon for like just hospitality.
Yeah, he has.
In general.
Yeah.
And I had the honor to cook for him recently. He came in and sat in front of me when we did sushi. It was a night, of course I'm going to be there that night when he's coming in.
Right.
I think I flew to LA to be there that night. Sits in front of me, after dinner's done. We have one more seating, but he's like, you want to grab a beer? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, guys, somebody step in. I'm going to grab a beer with Thomas Keller.
Right.
We sit there for a couple hours, I think, and just talk. And
how cool is that? And I'm sure he was Thomas, not Thomas Keller, when you sat down with him.
He was chef.
Yeah.
I never called him by his name.
No, but you know what I mean? Like you got to see him outside of, he's having a beer.
Yeah.
He's sitting down.
We were drinking beers together. So this was when we were in the Beverly Hills, the Beverly Wilshire Four Seasons.
Yeah.
This was a pop-up that lasted like 9 months. Now we're in the SLS hotel. But we were in the Beverly Wilshire. Yeah. And so we're in a penthouse on the top floor. It used to be Elvis's apartment.
Yeah.
And so one of the bedrooms is the restaurant, and then like the living room is where we were hanging out, just having beers. And it just like how much time he took with me and how complimentary he was, and how just his overall approach to me as a young chef.
Yeah. Total gentleman.
Just total mentor vibe.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because next summer when we open the restaurant, I will be the same age that he was when he took over the French Laundry.
Wow. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Well, chef, where can people find you? But tell them about your podcast too. So where can they can listen to it anywhere? It's great, by the way.
Yeah. So we've got the Not a Damn Chance podcast on YMH. It's awesome. It's not a comedy podcast, even though you would think it would be because it's on YMH. It's not a cooking podcast, even though you would think because it's me. It's a mindset podcast. And the idea is So we have NADC burger, stands for Not a Damn Chance Burger. And Not a Damn Chance truly is a mindset. It was kind of Neen Williams's like battle cry. And the idea is like, there's not a damn chance I'm giving up. And so every Tuesday, new episode comes out. And I think we're on episode 9 now or something like that, 10. And it'll be every Tuesday. And we sit down with someone who's at the absolute top of their field. Like someone that you've probably heard of. With some esoteric people too, but they're at the top of their, niche field. And we don't talk to them about what are your routine habits to like find success. Like, oh, I get up early and I do the cold plunge, and many of them do, but that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the mindset it took to overcome adversity along the way. What are the things that you went through that made you want to give up? What are the things that your wife told you, hey, maybe you should maybe it's not working. Maybe you do need to go back to that job. What are the times that, you found out that your partner was embezzling, or you were getting sued, or you were about to file for bankruptcy, or you're going to have to close your restaurant, or, how did you wipe the tears away from your eyes while you were in the shower and look in the mirror and say, fuck you, world. There's not a damn chance I'm giving up. Because the one thing that we have found that is consistent with everyone who has found success, not overnight success that dwindles, but like proper success, is they have been through those times where they didn't give up. And that's really what it takes. And I think it's really fun because I get to learn a lot. Neen gets to learn a lot, but people at home get to see these are just regular people who never stopped trying and didn't take no for an answer. So many people have great ideas, great execution, but they run into a brick wall and they turn around. You have to have the mindset that if I keep hitting this wall with my head, there's no way my fucking head's breaking. I'm breaking that fucking wall. And that is where people find success. Awesome. So that's what the podcast is.
Awesome, brother. Well, thanks for come back on anytime. This was fun.
I feel like we barely even scratched the surface of anything.
We did. And thanks for coming on, and we'll definitely do it again.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. You know what to do. Make sure you leave 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify or anywhere, really. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button. I'd completely revamped the Chef's PSA store, shop.chefspsa.com. My team added a ton of new items. I advise you to go check it out. Just peruse, look around. Maybe you see something nice that you like. Keep supporting the show. Go to chefspsa.com. You get books, obviously the merch, early access to episodes on Substack and Spotify for premium members. We'll see you next week. Hit the porno music.
No André in the kitchen, mixing, dropping chef knowledge, no fiction, stirring up the beats, heating up the session. Listen close, class is in session.